Picture this. You're driving down the road and suddenly, out of nowhere, someone slams into you. The car is totaled, you're left shaken up and in pain. You're thinking about going to get checked out at the hospital, but you decide to tough it out, thinking the pain will go away on its own. After all, you don't want to spend money on medical bills, right? Wrong. What you don't realize is that by not seeking medical treatment immediately, you're jeopardizing your legal claim and potentially missing out on compensation that you're owed and that you deserve. In fact, did you know that a person who seeks medical treatment right after an accident is more likely to receive a larger settlement than someone who toughs it out? In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of seeking medical treatment after an accident injury, and we'll take a look at a real-life example that shows how the decision to get medical treatment can be the difference between you getting a $2,000 settlement or a $50,000 settlement. Let's start by discussing the importance of seeking medical treatment for your health. After an accident, sometimes you can have injuries that you aren't even aware of. Some injuries, such as soft tissue injuries, concussions, or internal injuries, may not present symptoms immediately after an accident. It can take hours or even days before you start to feel the full effects of those kinds of injuries. And these injuries can have serious and long-lasting effects if left untreated. By seeking medical treatment after a personal injury, you can get an accurate diagnosis and ensure that you receive appropriate care for your injuries. This can help prevent further damage and complications and ultimately lead to a faster recovery. But besides being good for your health, seeking medical treatment is crucial for your legal case. If you decide to pursue a personal injury claim, you will need to provide evidence of your injuries in order to prove that you are entitled to compensation. Without medical documentation of your injuries, it can be challenging to get you paid a fair settlement for your injuries. Remember, if you're making a personal injury claim, you have the burden of proof. That means it's on you to convince whoever's deciding how much to pay on your case, whether that's an insurance adjuster, a judge, or a jury, that you were actually injured. And nobody's going to take your word for it. You can say, I think I have a broken arm, but if you don't have the appropriate medical records that diagnose you with a broken arm, you're just not going to get compensated for it. The way you document your injuries is simple, by getting medical treatment. When you get medical treatment for your injuries, your medical providers are going to document your injuries and your treatment in your medical records. And those records are going to contain a lot of information that you will need if you want to get a fair settlement from the insurance company, like diagnosis codes, treatment codes, how much you were charged, what kind of doctors treated you, whether your doctors say your accident was the cause of your injuries, and what kind of treatment you're going to need to recover from your injuries. All of that is critical information that goes into how much your injury claim is worth, and it only comes from medical records that are created when you get medical treatment. But it's not enough to just get medical treatment at some point after an accident injury. You need to get medical treatment as soon as possible to protect your legal rights. The longer you wait, the more likely the insurance company or other side's legal team is going to argue that your injuries are not as severe as you claim or were caused by something other than the incident in question. By the same token, it's not just enough to go get medical treatment one time and think you're good to go. You need to keep going to medical treatment until your injuries are resolved. That means following your doctor's treatment plan consistently. If your doctor has prescribed physical therapy 3 times per week, you need to go 3 times per week. If you're not following your doctor's orders, the people on the other side of your claim are going to argue A, that you're not all that injured, or B, your injuries lasted as long as they did because you didn't follow your doctor's orders. By consistently following your doctor's treatment recommendations and documenting your injuries, you can help protect yourself against these kinds of attacks. Now, in case you just think I'm blowing smoke, let's take a look at a couple of cases that have come through my office in the past year. Both cases involved a couple of ladies who got hurt in car accidents. In both cases, other drivers were completely at fault. And in both cases, the ladies' cars were totaled, and in both cases, they hurt their shoulder and were diagnosed with a rotator cuff strain. But that's about where the similarities end. In the first case, the lady came to see me because the insurance company was giving her a lowball settlement offer. So I asked some questions and found out that even though her shoulder started bothering her a day or so after the accident, she waited 4 months to go to the doctor about it. She was young, physically fit, and never been through something like this before, and just figured the pain in her shoulder would just go away on its own. After she finally went to the doctor about it, she got prescribed some physical therapy and was better in a few weeks. But because she waited so long to get medical treatment, her doctor was unable to tie her shoulder injury to the car accident. Plus, she had a job that required her to stock shelves and lift heavy things over her head, which of course she told the insurance company about before she came to me, so the insurance company was arguing that that was the real cause of her shoulder pain. Long story short, she gets offered about $2,000. I tell her I don't think I'll be able to add much value because there just isn't much medical evidence to support her case, and what little extra money I think I can squeeze out of the insurance company would just get eaten up by my attorney's fees. So she'll probably end up putting more money in her pocket by handling the situation on her own. The other lady, on the other hand, took a very different approach. She felt pain in her shoulder right after the car accident and immediately went to the ER. Although the x-rays they did at the ER didn't show any broken bones or anything, those ER records established that she was complaining about pain in her shoulder right after the car accident, and that's critical for proving that her shoulder injuries were caused by the car accident. Then she's released from the ER and she follows up with her primary care doctor a few days later because her shoulder's still bothering her. Her doctor orders an MRI, which doesn't show any tears in any tendons or ligaments, but it does show some inflammation, which is objective evidence that something in her shoulder isn't quite right. So she's ultimately diagnosed with a rotator cuff strain, and she was prescribed physical therapy and got better in a few weeks. Because she had strong medical evidence showing that she had injuries and medical treatment that were clearly related to the car accident, I was able to get her a settlement of $50,000, which was the full amount of the at-fault driver's insurance coverage, and she was pretty happy with that. But now let's address the elephant in the room, the cost of medical treatment. It's no secret that medical bills can add up quickly and that many people are hesitant to get medical treatment because they're concerned that they're going to wind up with a mountain of medical bills to pay for. If you're worried about that, you should check out this video here where I go over ways to get your medical bills paid while you are waiting for your personal injury settlement. And if you would like help with your injury claim or just want to find out what your options are, click the link in the description below and send me some information about your case and we can set up a time to talk. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, seeking medical treatment early on can make all the difference in your recovery and your case.